Hi again, guys. So I'm doing another video here to try and help some people out. Some emails I had. This one is very specific for Togetherness NYC, who sent me an email which basically says exactly this. Just wondering, do you know how to map control over master volume and/or individual channel strips on the Axiom? I have the Axiom 25. It doesn't have faders, just round knobs. How do I do that? And then the other query he said is, I'm having trouble assigning individual notes to trigger pads. For example, let's say I want to trigger the note E1 from a custom-made ES2 synth sound. It seems that I've assigned it to a pad, but when I hit the pad, it all triggers the pad simultaneously with the same note. They all light up, except one that they've actually assigned. How do I stop this happening? So I think if I understand right in what you're asking me to do, I'll hopefully answer it. I'm going to just take you right from the beginning here, so we'll go right from the start. So if you follow this, you should get it exactly right and it should work. So we've got a new concert here. I'm just going to click on the overall concert level here and go to layout and just quickly get a rough idea to work with something. So I'm going to put my keyboard down. I'm using an Axiom 61 here. You've got the Axiom 65, so that's all cool. You said it didn't have faders, just a bank of knobs on it. So if we go for, I think it has round knobs. That's our Axiom controls. Now, some of the guys who had posted on other things said they still weren't getting separation between the pads and the keyboard MIDI data, which is what I was talking about on another video. I think it all comes down to this little next step, and hopefully you're watching this and it'll sort those guys out who were stuck. It's this MIDI activity thing, this little tiny eye. So I'm going to drag one of them over. Now you need two of these, and they split the MIDI data coming in. So this first one, my Axiom is just going straight into my Mac via USB, and that's what pops up there, as yours will, or whatever controller you have. So I'm selecting this first one here, and I'm just going to make that channel 1, which basically means this bit is controlling the keyboard side of things. You see them both lighting up there because I haven't changed the top one. So I'm just going to jump in and change this to the pads, which trigger on channel 10, as most drum banks do. So now when I'm pressing my keyboard now, although you can't see it, now you see it's only flashing up for the keyboard data. I'm just going to throw in, he said something about pads, so a bank of 2x4. So these are Axiom pads here. So now when I start hitting them, you can't tell, but I'm hitting it right now, and it's just triggering the pad sounds. This is the first thing I do before you even start looking at sounds in Mainstage is the learning stage, I call it. It's telling Mainstage exactly what keyboard you've got and what controls it is to be awaiting messages from as such. So like I did in the other videos, it's basically this great little learn thing. I'm just going to hit learn and tap the first pad there, and then jump to the second one, learn that, and I'm just actually tapping my Axiom here, learn the third one, learn this one, and as you see, it's telling, it's coming from the Axiom port 10, note C1. Okay, I won't do all of them, but you get the idea. So now when I hit them, you see it's getting the individual notes, and it's also just triggering that top MIDI activity window, not the bottom one. And the only reason this is going, the keyboard's triggering, is because that is set to channel 1 to 16. Make that 1. There we go. So now when I'm, as you can see up in the top here, this note is a C1. It's no longer doing it on the piano. So that should solve any problems that anyone was commenting on the other stuff. I mean, that's how you split the MIDI data between pads and keyboards. Hopefully that's solved that. Okay, moving on. I'm just going to learn the first couple of rotary encoders on the Axiom. 1, 2. I'm just going to do 4 for this video. 3 and 4. Okay, now the guy who emailed wanted to do a map of master control over one of these knobs, so I'm just going to pick this one, which is rotary encoder 8 on the Axiom. There we go. Now that, for the whole entire setlist I'm playing, this last encoder, rotary 8, regardless of what song I'm playing, is always going to control the master. Unlike sometimes in other songs, this control might be a synth cut off on one song, or it might be a reverb send on the next song. That can change by what they call a patch to patch level, or a song on song basis. But this one is always going to be the master control for me. So knowing that, I'm just going to add a label. I'm just going to call that master, and then I'm just going to say nothing there. So that's always the master. Okay, so everything's learned here. We've got this, we've got the keyboard, and we've got the knobs assigned. So now let's jump into the edit mode. Now this is probably where you were going wrong. If you assign stuff here where this says suitcase, which is a patch by patch, or a sound by sound, or a song by song, however you're doing it, these are the things that change. So if I add more of these in, this could be piano, Rhodes, synth, or it could be verse, part 1, chorus, bridge, depending on how you set this up. But these all change as you go through it. Everything here on the screen changes each time you go down. So I'm going to select the overall, which is the master folder, or the concert level. I'm going to click on this master controller, which is rotary encoder 8. When I get it, there we go. And then down here you see all the attributes for that controller. I'm going to make that. Now this is the thing, you have an output and you have a master. Now the output isn't the master, the output is the output per patch. So this patch might be quieter than, or it might be louder, so you might want to turn down the Rhodes here so it matches with the piano on the next one or whatever. But what we're looking for is this one, the master fader. So back to the console level, master control, I'm going to make that my master volume. And then as I move it, you see we've got control over that now. Now that will always stay, so even though I'm flicking through here, you see this control is always doing the master volume on every patch. So there's that. The next thing the guy said was, I think, something about, channel strips. How do you get encoders to be channel strips? So let's throw something in here. We've got our Rhodes. So we want to control the volume of that. It's quite as simple as selecting it, going down to the attributes. This is the instrument, which is here, the suitcase, the electric Rhodes channel. I'm just going to map that to be volume. So there we go, channel 1. It's that. Now, of course, if you had a piano alongside this or anything else, you just go along and you can map all these to be whatever you want. Okay, so there's that. And you can replace it as well here, so you've just called, you can make that Rhodes volume. Now, because I'm doing this here on this level, patch by patch, not the ultimate, the concert level one, on this particular one, this is controlling Rhodes volume. But if I jump to the next patch, this could suddenly, see it's unassigned, this could be anything. So I'm going to just throw in an ES2, because I think that's what the guy said he was working with. Oops, I'm doing that wrong. Delete that channel, it's an audio track. Software instrument. Okay. Throw an ES2 in there. Alright. So I think the question asked was, someone wanted to, using the pads on the Axiom, trigger an E2 note, which is this. Wanted to trigger that sound from a pad and it have nothing to do with the keyboard, I guess, or interfere with it. And I think they were trying to say, when they're hitting this button, as you can see up in the top, the actual MIDI note is D2. That's what the Axiom is sending out to Logic. That's what Logic sees. So how do I basically convert that to be note E2? Again, that's pretty simple. Just to show there that I'm hitting the pads and it's doing nothing to do with the piano parts there. So I'm just going to hit this pad. So I want this one that's blue to be the note E2 from the ES2 synth. So you click on the pad itself and this will bring up the attributes. Although it says Suitcase Sprite, it's not, it's the ES2. In fact, if I change that there, that'll make a bit more sense. There we go, see synth message. And it's here, MIDI notes. So I scroll down to the one I want. So you want that triggering the note E2. So I'm hitting this. And there is the E2 note. Just to prove that if I make that a D, or a high note, so that's the same pad which is assigned to D2, triggering all different types of notes, and you just set that what you want it to do. And I think that solves that. Yeah, now this might help some people as well. At the minute, if I play my keyboard, which I am now, you see that my keyboard is controlling the synth there, which isn't probably what you want. So what you need to do is you click on the synth channel itself, you click on the Midi Input Tab. You see at the minute, sorry, it's getting its input from keyboard 1. So what might be best to do, that's what I usually do, just haven't done it here, is like we said, this part was the keyboard. Just rename that so you know where you're working. So if you call that keys, which of course, remember that we've set that to channel 1 up here. This is channel 10. Name that pads, it just makes it a bit easier when you're working in this section of it. So at the minute, our keyboard is playing the synth. You click on the synth, on the channel, or whatever it is you're working with, and you can see obviously the display at the bottom changes. So we click on the synth, MIDI input, you just want to make that come off the pads. So the pads is controlling the synth, nothing else. So now I'm playing my keyboard, nothing but the E2 note is still up there. And you see, if we go back, at the minute, this controller, this rotary, I'm turning a rotary dial now and it's doing nothing. But if I jump to that one, which we set it up to do, you get the Rhodes volume. But still, the master is constant throughout all these changes, no matter what we do. And that's because you've set it on this overall level. Hopefully that solved it. Togetherness NYC, hope that sorts you out. But check out the other videos, and anyone who was saying they were getting stuck or it wasn't doing it, I did it on another video. I've done it again on this one. It's all down to this MIDI activity, these two kind of little eye windows, and just making sure in the layout that you've over here, the hardware input, that you've definitely just split the assignment to be channel 1, channel 10, because they do default to be multi-timbral, which just means 1 through to 16 channels. So everything on the Axiom is sending every channel out. You need to just split that up so it knows where it's working. But it is only a 2-minute job when hopefully you know what you're doing and you've seen this, and you say, oh, there we go, that's how you do it. Okay, well, again, any problems, just email me. I'll always try and help everyone out if I can. And good luck using Mainstage. Thanks.